You'll feel better when you see them walk in. That's what I kept telling myself, again and again. It was my wedding day, quiet, simple, full of love. My fiancé, Caleb, held my hand as guests trickled in. We'd chosen a little countryside barn, strung with soft golden lights and wildflowers. There weren't hundreds of people, just our closest friends, a few cousins, and the old piano teacher who used to sneak me candy during lessons. But as the sun lowered and the aisle music started, I kept turning my head. No sign of them. My mother, my father, the two people I thought would at least show up. I kept making excuses for them in my head. Maybe traffic, maybe Dad's back was acting up again, maybe Mom's anxiety got the better of her. But deep down, I knew they weren't coming. You know what's funny? I didn't even want a big wedding. No dramatic dresses or champagne fountains. All I wanted was one photo, just one, with my parents smiling next to me. Something I could frame and maybe, just maybe, pretend for a second we were like other families. But they gave me silence instead. Not even a text, not even a "sorry, we couldn't make it." And I tried not to take it personally. I really did. For months I defended them in conversations, lied to friends, and said, oh, they were travelling that week, or Dad got sick last minute. Then Facebook did what it always does. It showed me the truth. There they were, my mum in an expensive silk dress, laughing with a glass of champagne, my dad grilling steaks with his sleeves rolled up, and right in the middle, my sister Claire blowing out candles at her birthday barbecue, same date, same time as my wedding. I stared at that photo for a long time. Caleb found me in our tiny kitchen that night, still in my dress, barefoot, cold, just hollow. He didn't say a word. He didn't have to. He just sat down next to me, held my hand, and let me fall apart. I'd seen my fair share of revenge stories on the internet, people exposing toxic parents, cutting them off, going no contact and thriving. I used to wonder how they did it, how they got so strong. That night I stopped wondering, because something broke inside me. Or maybe something was finally born, the part of me that still wanted their love. She didn't make it through that night. Want to know the real twist? This was just the beginning. The day they erased me from the guest list of my own life was the day I started rewriting the entire script. I didn't go there to fight. I really didn't. A week after the wedding, I pulled into my parents' driveway in the same dusty car I used to drive in high school. It still smelled like stale coffee and lavender air freshener. I had worn something neutral. Nothing flashy, nothing dramatic, just a beige sweater and jeans. I even brought cookies from the bakery down the street, like some part of me still believed this could be softened. When my mum opened the door, she blinked twice. "Oh, it's you," she said flatly. No hug, no smile, just a half step back, like I'd interrupted her TV show. She didn't even call for my dad. She just turned and walked inside. I followed. The house looked the same, except colder. Like the love had been packed away with the holiday decorations they never bothered to take down. I sat on the edge of the couch, held the box of cookies on my lap, and finally asked, "Why didn't you come?" My voice cracked halfway through. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped the box. I wasn't there to beg. I just wanted something, an answer, a flicker of regret, maybe even a lie. But then I heard footsteps, and before I could even register it, crack! My father slapped me, right across the face. No warning, no build-up, just a red-hot sting, and the kind of silence that makes your ears ring. "You dare come here and question us?" he barked. "After marrying him, you've embarrassed this family enough." I didn't even flinch. My mom stood near the kitchen doorway, arms crossed, just watching. When I turned to her, searching for anything human in her eyes, she gave me a tight smirk. You made your bed, Nora. Now lie in it. Have you ever had someone slap you and then act like you're the one who crossed a line? That moment, God, I'm curious, if that had been you, what would you have done? Would you have walked out right away, said something, or just froze like I did? Let me know in the comments, because honestly, I still replay that scene more than I care to admit. But here's what I do know. That girl, the one sitting there in silence, cheeks burning, heart crushed, she didn't come back with me that night. Something in me died on that couch, and something else quietly came alive. For a while after that slap, I disappeared. Not in the dramatic storm-off kind of way, just quietly. I logged out of every account, turned off my phone, didn't tell anyone where I was going because, truthfully, I didn't go anywhere. I just stopped showing up. Grief isn't always loud. Sometimes it's silent and slow, like dripping water in an empty house. I'd sit by the kitchen window in our apartment every morning, still in pajamas, watching the world go on without me. It was like I had died, and the obituary never got published. Caleb never pushed, not once. He'd make tea, kiss my temple, and go about his day like he understood this version of me needed space. But one morning, something shifted. I saw a mom walking her kid to school. The little girl was telling her a story, arms waving, face lit up. The mom wasn't even looking at her. She was on the phone, nodding at nothing. And I don't know why, but that broke me, because I remembered being that kid, talking to my mom while she scrolled, bringing home report cards she never read, setting the table for birthdays she forgot. And I realized I've been asking for scraps from people who never had a full plate for me to begin with. So I got up, took a shower, opened my laptop. I had a small side business, event planning, mostly baby showers and bridal brunches for local mums. It had never been serious, but suddenly it became my oxygen. I rebranded, built a new website, sleek, elegant, no family name attached. I didn't want their shadow on anything I touched. I picked a new logo, a single magnolia flower, quiet but impossible to ignore. Then I worked, obsessively, 12, 14-hour days, designing color palettes, drafting timelines, studying vendor contracts like sacred texts. I poured every ounce of heartbreak into linen swatches and lighting layouts. People started noticing, clients recommended me, photographers tagged me, a small blog featured one of my weddings, then a magazine called me the underdog designer to watch. And through it all, I said nothing. I didn't post emotional quotes, didn't write think pieces about toxic families. I just let the work speak. It was quiet revenge, but it was mine. I wasn't building a career. I was building a world where I mattered, where my eye, my voice, my presence meant something. Looking back now, I think that girl by the kitchen window needed to disappear so that this woman could rise. I hadn't heard from them in over 10 months. 10 months of silence. No calls, no birthday messages, not even a forwarded meme or passive-aggressive chain email, nothing. And honestly, I didn't miss it. So when my phone lit up with a number I didn't recognize, I almost declined the call. But something in me paused. I let it ring, then answered. Hello? There was a breath. Then her voice. Sweetheart. I froze. That word had once meant something to me. Now it felt like a stranger breaking into my house and calling me by my childhood nickname. It was my mother. Her voice trembled. We're in a little bit of trouble. She launched into it quickly, like she'd rehearsed. Dad had made some bad investments, stocks, real estate, who knows. The bank was threatening to seize the house. His health had declined. Her income had stopped. My sister Claire was getting married next month, and everything was falling apart. And then came the line that really got me. We know you're doing well, Nora. We've seen your website. We're so proud of you. Proud. That word hit harder than any slap. Because where was that pride when I was alone on my wedding night, when I stood at the altar scanning for their faces that never came? I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just said, I'll think about it, and hung up. That night, I sat in my apartment staring at my laptop screen, still open to my weekly planner. I didn't feel angry. I didn't feel anything, just clarity. They hadn't called because they missed me. They'd called because they needed something. And I no longer needed them. So I wrote an email, cold, clean, professional. Subject, regarding your request. Body. Unfortunately, my company does not extend charitable support to individuals who once told me I cost them money. Please direct future inquiries to my assistant. Then I hit send. No extra sentences. No, I hope you understand. No closure they didn't earn. Some people ask me if I ever regretted it, if I felt guilty turning my back when they needed me. But here's the truth. They turned their backs first. I just stopped chasing them. And maybe that's the hardest kind of freedom to earn. But God, it's the kind that lasts. The email landed on a Tuesday, time-stamped 2:13 a.m., the hour when honest panic finally flushes past cocktail bravado. Subject, urgent wedding planning inquiry, Napa Valley Estate, 4 weeks out. I skimmed the message once, then again. The bride's name, Claire Bellamy, my sister. The same backyard barbecue queen whose party had replaced my wedding in our parents' calendar. 4 weeks, 200+ guest list, private vineyard. Planner had fallen suddenly ill. Could our firm step in? I leaned back in my chair, felt my mouth curve. Not a grin, just recognition. The universe had handed me an RSVP with my sister's name in gold script and a question mark at the end. Instead of replying myself, I pinged my assistant, Brielle. Forward this to Elena Westbrook, I wrote. Elena was me, on paper, the public CEO persona I used when I needed distance. Contract negotiations, media interviews, places where Nora, the girl who got slapped, might wobble, but Elena, the owner, never would. Within 12 hours, Claire's team had a proposal, a fee that might fund a starter home, and a politely worded note. The owner rarely meets clients face to face, but will personally oversee execution. They accepted without blinking. Desperation is a marvelous lubricant. The vineyard. 2 weeks later, I drove through the wrought iron gates of Aurelia Estate. Early dawn fog curling around cypress trees like theatre smoke. I wore black slacks, a white blouse, low ponytail, uniform of the invisible elite. Vendors see you, guests don't. Perfect. I walked the terracotta paths, clipboard in hand, greeting florists, lighting techs, the pastry chef fussing over sugar dust roses. Everything flowed like chess pieces across a polished board. My board. At 9:17 a.m., a white SUV rolled up. Claire stepped out first, all designer athleisure and iced latte. My mother followed, clutching a binder of last-minute demands. They breezed past me toward the pergola before Claire's head snapped back. Those hazel eyes flickered, cataloguing, comparing. You could almost hear the hard drive click. "No way," she breathed, half laugh, half wheeze. "Nora!" Mum's face drained, as if every bad investment had just come due in a single heartbeat. I held my clipboard steady. "Good morning. You must be the bride." Claire's mouth opened, then closed. "You run this place?" "I own the company running this place," I corrected, voice calm, volume conference room low. "Today, you're the client. Shall we continue our walk through?" Mum finally spoke, a strangled whisper. Why didn't you say anything?" "Because contracts don't require family disclosures," I said, "and because 4 weeks is tight even for us. If you'd prefer another firm, let me know and I'll release the date." Claire glanced at the sprawling vineyard, the army of suppliers already under my direction. Cancelling would torch her deposits, maybe the whole wedding. She swallowed. "No, we proceed." "Excellent." I clicked my pen. The sound felt like sealing a vault. Checkmate in slow motion. For the next 10 days, I choreographed her celebration down to the millisecond. Flower trucks timed between heat spikes, chef tastings synchronized with sunset gold, a string quartet flown in from Seattle because the groom liked how they covered pop songs. Professionally, I was flawless. Personally, I was silent. I spoke to Claire only about linens and head counts, to Mom only about seating charts. Every thank you she offered ricocheted off Kevlar politeness. But each night, driving back to the hotel, I'd roll down the window, inhale the lavender and oak air, and let a quiet certainty settle in my bones. They once erased my name from a guest list. Now their marquee moment rests inside my signature. And the real reveal? Still to come. The wedding was perfect. Golden hour spilled across the vineyard like honey. Guests sipped chilled Prosecco, mingled under fairy lights. A live quartet played a slowed-down version of Can't Help Falling in Love. Everything was exactly how Claire had dreamed it, because I had made it that way. I stood near the back of the reception tent, clipboard tucked away, headset off. My job was done, not a single petal out of place. Then the DJ tapped the mic. Now, a few words from the mother of the bride. My mother stepped up in her floor-length designer gown, glass in hand, smile as polished as the chandelier above her. "To my beautiful daughter," she began, "the star of our family. We've always known she would be the one to shine." Guests clapped politely. She continued, "And to those who supported her from the beginning, who stood by her through every joy, every sacrifice." Her eyes flicked toward me, and that's when the lights dimmed. The back wall of the tent lit up. A video began, soft instrumental music, then clips. Me. In planning sessions, setting up stages, styling tables, managing chaos, photos from magazine features, a screen grab from a morning show segment, a client hugging me in tears after her wedding. And finally, my name, my brand, Magnolia Plus West, the logo they'd scrolled past, pretending it wasn't mine. I stepped up to the mic. "I wasn't invited to my own wedding," I said, voice steady, "but I was hired to build this one." Gasps rippled, forks dropped. I turned to my mother. "You called me the shame of this family. But here's the real shame, how easily love is sold to the highest bidder while loyalty gets erased." I didn't wait for applause. I walked out. And this time they were the ones watching me leave. I'm curious. If this were your moment, if the people who erased you came crawling back, would you expose them or walk away quietly? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it.